Hey everyone, I'm Briggs Savage. Thank you so much for being here with us on Northern Life on this Monday. You're kicking off the week with just me today. Ryan and Hunter will be back tomorrow after enjoying some time off. So now that summer is in our rearview mirror and we're fully into fall, I wanted to take this chance to look back and share some of our Northern News Now team's favorite stories from the summer season. We did a lot this year and showcased so many fun places and people all around the region. That includes a 101-year-old Denfeld graduate who, back in June, walked to accept his diploma that was 8 decades overdue. Our Laura Lee shared his story.
Zips all the way down.
The fitting of the robe,
So far, so good. Got your arm in there?
is an important part for every graduate,
Okay, now we gotta get your other arm in here.
especially for one Denfeld graduate
Golly, gee. Okay, stand up straight.
who is 101 years old.
See?
With his cap and gown ready to go, Harlan Olson is ready to walk the stage. The Denfeld High School hunter taking it all in. The overwhelming chaos of graduation day. Surrounded and comforted by his wife and children. A symbolic moment as Harlan is wheeled into the same historic auditorium he remembers from 1943. 18-year-old Harlan never made it to graduation day. Just months before, Uncle Sam came calling.
Tried to act brave, but I was scared.
He was drafted into World War II, leaving his family and Duluth, the only home he's ever known. The veteran was deployed for 3 years to Germany, fighting on the front lines.
That's too long ago to remember.
Only the black and white photos, inked from his past, to jog his memory.
Is this you? Were you 18 here? So if you could tell this 18-year-old Harlan anything, what would you tell him?
Have fun. I was a lucky guy. I went through a lot of bad days and I'm still alive.
And his good fortune giving him a chance to complete something he never finished.
My dad accepted the diploma. Later on, I wanted to accept my own diploma. So they let me do that.
Every single kid that walks across the stage at Denfeld High School is significant to our community. That includes Harlan.
For the past year, Denfeld High School principal Tom Tuskin has been coordinating this monumental moment for Harlan.
Once a hunter, always a hunter. And he's a hunter that hasn't been able to walk across the stage, so we're going to make that happen for him. He's just getting his commencement late, but it really is symbolic of every contribution he's made during his lifetime.
Grace Nonamacher.
Harlan will share the stage with another graduate, senior Grace Nonamacher.
It's definitely really cool to know someone that's like been through war, lived through it, and like is continuing their life.
The two met in church and have been friends since Grace was 6 years old.
It's really special. I definitely was looking through graduation, but now it's even more monumental, and I'm really excited.
So Harlan, how are you feeling right now?
Pretty damn good.
When you graduate that night and you see a room full of graduates.
I'll be scared.
A little scared maybe, but you wouldn't know it. In his burgundy cap and gown, Denfeld hunter Harlan Olson is finally called to the stage to accept his diploma 81 years later. Cheers and a standing ovation from his community and fellow hunters, the class of 2024. Celebrating the lifelong service of this World War II veteran, now officially a graduate.
Such an amazing story, and a big congrats to Harlan from all of us here at Northern News Now. Many graduates also took the time to shake Harlan's hand that night. As for Harlan himself, when Laura asked how he planned to celebrate his graduation, he told her a McDonald's cheeseburger and some cake. Awesome celebration idea indeed. Well, that leads me to another inspirational grad. One Northlander donned a cap and gown this spring after earning a graduate degree at the age of 76. David Gleasner received his PhD in social work this past May from the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. It's a continuation of his life's work in the field. About 10 years ago, he decided to take a few college classes to expand his knowledge. But when the tuition bill came, he was in for a wonderful surprise. The bill was just a fraction of what he was expecting.
Graduate courses are like $1,100 a credit. So I took two classes, that was 6 credits, and signed up. And then when I got the bill, it was $60.
Thinking it was just a stroke of luck, he paid that bill quickly and took even more classes, eventually enrolling to earn his PhD. But it wasn't a mistake. Gleasner had stumbled upon a special program in Minnesota that helps seniors take low-cost college courses, about $10 per credit. We have more information about how you can sign up for that program on our website, northernnewsnow.com. And some new chefs stepped into their Duluth kitchen for the first time this summer, and it was all thanks to a local nonprofit dedicated to giving everyone an opportunity to live out their dreams. Choice Unlimited is a nonprofit that helps people with special needs find jobs, support them with training, and more. Sean Ramo from Duluth and Matt Christian from Cloquet started taking cooking classes through Choice virtually during the pandemic. Both have growing interests in the field, and their instructor, Jackie Nelson, decided to reach out to the American Legion as a venue to hold a pop-up cafe. She says in addition to teaching valuable skills, the event brings a lot of joy to Matt and Sean. The pop-up served chicken wraps with pasta, chips, and even a pineapple cake for desserts. Choice Unlimited has more pop-up cafes planned for October as well. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back, everybody. It's not often that members of our sports team get to team up with a group of veterans as they journey down to a baseball game, but our Alexis Bass was given tickets to do just that, joining a group of Grand Rapids vets for a one-of-a-kind trip to Target Field.
On one northern Minnesota summer morning,
let's start loading the bus.
It was wheels up, bright and early, and all aboard all 42 veterans from the VFW Post 1720.
And we ask your blessings on our time together.
On the bus to Target Field. The Twins hosting the Brewers in the border battle. But ahead of the first pitch, Vietnam vets from Grand Rapids, Don Mayo and Kenny Hurlbutt, had a task to get to first. The raising of the flags.
When we had a meeting before we went, they said, who would like to raise the territorial flag, because we're not going to be able to raise the American flag. We didn't understand, maybe it was too much work for us to get down there, all that. And both of us volunteered at the same time, so Don said, Kenny, you raise the flag.
Already hitting home runs and winning the day.
For me to be there and raising that flag that means so much to us here was just about a precious thing.
Bus driver James Mosey, who is a Desert Storm veteran, thought so too.
And when we saw Kenny and Don do that, it was a moving experience, especially when we saw the 1720 logo on our caps being portrayed on TV at the stadium.
The vets' day out at the ballpark did not end at the game. So back on the bus we go, en route back up I-35 onto US Highway 2, loaded with precious cargo and surprises right around the corner. A parade of people painting the streets of Grand Rapids.
Welcome home.
Welcoming home their veterans the only way they know how.
Oh, when you get back to town here and find
Wouldn't
the
that
people.
something?
You find the locals standing here waiting for us to show back up. You know, that's how they used to do it for the honor flight. And to do that you can't believe what that does to your heart.
One special passenger on that honor bus, World War II veteran Art Playshaker.
I think it is nice for VFW to do this for the vets. The vets deserve it.
You deserve it. What is one thing you'll take away from today that you'll always remember about this day?
It's a good get together. Got honored.
Would you do it again?
Sure, I'd do it again.
Yeah, next year?
Yeah, I'll do it next year together.
a day out at the ballpark that veterans Don and Kenny will never forget either.
He was at that meeting and he stood up and he said, "And I'll be beside you every step of the way." And the next year he got to go with his brother. And we have done this together as a team.
A team of heroes still putting feet to the pavement as they continue to pay tribute to their country and their community.
God blessed us so much today, I don't know where to start with that.
Well, this was the first time the VFW Post 1720 up in Grand Rapids had put on an honor bus. They already have the funding to make the trip the next 2 years as well. Well, a Duluth native used her journey along the half marathon course this year to raise money for her best friend who's battling breast cancer. Jessica Bradley, a 33-year-old Duluth mom of 2, was recently diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. She's a school social worker and her husband Mike is a Proctor police officer. Jessica was about a third of the way through her chemo treatments back in June and is expecting to have surgery this fall in order to help her family through this major hardship. Her friend, Michelle Truax, ran the half marathon wearing all pink with a QR code on her back. That code took people directly to Jessica's GoFundMe where they can donate to her cause. Michelle says Jessica is always helping others.
Jess is literally the kindest, most giving person I've probably ever met. She's a school social worker at Piedmont Elementary, and she is with kids all the time working on making their lives better. She is literally one of the most positive people I've ever met in my life, too.
And some good news to share. Jessica has now completed her chemo treatments, and they showed success. But now she has a big surgery planned for October. Her friends are still raising money for Jessica's family. We have a link to donate on our website. Our team also had a blast visiting Hayward this summer for the Lumberjack World Championships. The competition may have Jack in the title, but 2 local Lumberjills also made a splash at this year's competition. The annual games continue to celebrate the skills of speed, balance, lightness of foot, strength, and focus. So a big congrats to those ladies from all of us here at Northern News Now. Well, hey, coming up after the break, we head out on the Northwest Wisconsin waters with Dan Wolf as he tries to catch a muskie. We'll share a longtime angler's secrets after the break. Welcome back. Hayward is the land of the giant muskie. While the area's lakes are known for being home to those big, angry-looking fish, there aren't a ton of people who go out actually fishing for them. But those who do say having a muskie at the end of your line is the ultimate adrenaline rush. So our Dan Wolf decided to try it for himself on a Hayward area lake this summer with a fishing guide who's been hunting muskies there for the last 40 years.
Everything's bigger when you're fishing for muskie. From the lures to the poles to the casts and splashes, and even the fishing guides.
That one's already been chewed up a few times.
John Myrie's been helping people find muskies for more than 4 decades.
You watch that thing, it's got a real wide swimming action to it.
He's had very few troubles reeling in the Northwoods' most elusive fish, as seen in photo after photo after story.
What's your personal best muskie?
43 pounds.
Wow.
On this beautiful Hayward evening, I got a crash course in technique.
No, I hear all the time about figure eights at the boat. Is that something you try to do, or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's real important in darker water because where you see, you should at least come to the boat and make a turn of some kind.
Sadly, dozens of figure eights later, not a muskie to be found.
Well, John, I want to welcome you to the Dan Wolf experience here. It's not catching a darn fish. I'm glad
But eventually, the curse was broken. Not a muskie, but a good-sized pike. Better than nothing at all.
So let me ask you, what makes Hayward such a muskie destination?
You know, here in Wisconsin, almost every lake that was connected to a river had muskies starting way back when. So there was always muskies out there, and
Because of that, it was one of the primary fish that people went after. The sport of muskie fishing has grown tremendously.
Well, I'll have to wait till next time for that muskie adrenaline rush. It's hard to beat a summer night on the water at one of northern Wisconsin's gems.
Some days you'll catch 2, maybe even 3, and days that you won't catch 1. You won't see a fish.
Yeah.
That's just part of muskie fishing.
John is a very talented angler, as you can tell, but he's not just a muskie hunter. He'll take you out for walleyes, panfish, bass, and more. If you want to go out on the water with him, we have his contact information on our website. Also in Hayward is the Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame and Museum. This facility is a popular tourist destination with about 50,000 visitors every year between April and October. The Hall of Fame serves as a record-keeping body in the sport of freshwater fishing. The 7-acre site also houses about 100,000 artifacts on the history and heritage of the sport. There are several gardens and new playgrounds recently added to the grounds. Executive Director Emmett Brown encourages people of all ages to come out and enjoy the museum. And now to one of my favorite stories of the last few months. We heard from the Duluth family who pulled their cat Drifter from the storm sewer he was trapped in for 7 weeks. In July, owner Cliff Neeseth says Drifter went missing the day a construction crew capped a sewer hole down the street from their East Hillside home and then covered the area with rocks. The family had been searching and posting to social media ever since with no luck. Then, 7 weeks later, neighborhood kids heard meowing from a blocked-off storm drain, so Neeseth and his family dug until they could pull the cat to safety. Truly incredible story there. When Drifter went missing, he was just 15 pounds, and then they found him. He was 6 pounds, but he's given a clean bill of health. Before we go, we'll take a look at what's coming up in tomorrow's show after the break. Before we go here today, after each week of games during the high school football season, the Vikings honor a high school coach of the week. Last week, Duluth-Denfeld coach Eric Lofald was chosen based on his contribution on the football field and his impacts on the student athletes. Denfeld's football program will now receive a $1,000 donation on behalf of the Minnesota Vikings. The Hunters are currently ranked number 6 in the Class 4A division. A big congrats to Coach Lofald there. Coming up tomorrow here on Northern Life, it is the first day of October, so you know what that means. Sign-ups begin for Grandma's Marathon already. Crazy to think about that race coming up in June. We'll have Zach Schneider, one of the race's organizers, here with us in studio, sharing all the information you need to know if you plan on running and more about some big changes coming to this year's William A. Ehrman 5K. Then coming up on Friday, our Northern News Now team is hitting the road again. We're going to be live in Bayfield for Apple Fest. We'll be sharing all sorts of fun stories, including introducing you to this year's Grand Marshal for the Apple Fest Parade and taking a look inside a new restaurant right on the lake shore. Very exciting. We'll be live in Bayfield at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock on Friday. So thank you so much for joining me here today. Have a great rest of your Monday. Ryan Hunter and I will be right back here tomorrow.
Find some time to throw a line or just head outside to unwind. That's the life in the great North Woods. Hike or bike, whatever you like. Get out in the day, enjoy the night. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, we got the life in the great North Woods. Yeah, this is Northern